Well, let's return to the European Union's historic migration deal. It aims to change how the bloc processes migrants. We'll bring in political analyst Cory Le Guen from Paris for more on this. Cory, thanks for joining us as always. Now, this is being hailed as a landmark agreement, but how's it going to work in practice? And I'm particularly referring to this solidarity mechanism by which all 27 member states have to exempt quotas of migrants or make financial contributions to those states that do. How's that going to work in practice?
Well, hi, Aaron. Very complicated indeed. To be honest, I think we are facing one of the most political crises in France since Macron took the power in 2017. Macron is currently, as we speak now, talking as well on the French TV since more than 2 hours on live in front of journalists, explaining why he was pushing this law into the far right as well, lawmakers. Because in fact, if you look at the bill, the new bill decided by the Parliament, Senate and National Assembly, if you look at this bill now, it's harder than the project of the government. So it's getting the life harder for migrants, for foreigners who want to come and establish their life here in France. And Macron has pushed to the far-right lawmakers in order for them to vote these controversial new rules. So if you look into the details, these controversial new rules, including migration quotas, making it harder for immigrants, children to become French citizens, and delaying migrants to access to the welfare benefits. So having said this, if you look the parliamentary who vote for this law, it's a very complicated situation currently in the country, and nobody knows what Macron has behind his head.
Sure, and this is the new, tougher legislation that's been agreed in France, but also on a wider context, all 27 member states in Europe have agreed and have signed up to a new way of processing migrants and asylum seekers. It involves having faster track ways of returning migrants who have no claim to asylum, along with faster processing and a whole other host of tools at the disposal. But the tricky question there is, how's it going to work? All 27 have agreed. It presumably will be ratified, but we know that countries like Poland, for example, are less keen to take migrants from, for example, Syria or Muslim countries. Now, they don't have to take them under this new legislation, but they will have to pay the countries like Italy and like Greece, for example, that will take them. And I wonder, is that going to work in practice, even though it will be put on paper?
Well, for France, it's very easy to say. The bill voted yesterday, very late in the evening. A lot of, even the Prime Minister, Elisabeth Borne, said that the Constitutional Council will not validate the law. So regarding the human rights constitution and the French constitution, the law will not pass. To answer to your question, I'll say that we have to look into the Italian example. If you look Meloni during her campaign, she has said that migrants and foreigners will be, I'm sorry for my French, kicked out of the Italy. And a couple of days ago, she said that unfortunately for their voters, for her voters, Italy will need foreigners, workers to come in Italy and to work in Italy. So I don't really see a huge clash in Europe, because we will always obviously need foreigners, students, foreigners, workers to do works that the Europeans doesn't want to do, unfortunately. So it's a contradiction. It's a big contradiction between the campaign and the populist voters and the far right ideas and the result of the practice in Europe. And I'm not really sure, even though we are 27 countries in Europe, I'm not really sure that everyone has the same spirit and politic in mind. Of course, there's a lot of countries with recent elections. I'm thinking about the Netherlands, have been voted for far-right lawmakers, new far-right lawmakers. But
Germany too.
These countries as well rushing us. If you look towards Spain, or Spain keep having a human politic, a humanitarian politic, and more oriented on the left side. So I don't see a big clash towards Europe. And of course, in France, it will be difficult for the future to get this law passed.
Okay. Cory, we thank you very much, as always. Appreciate you joining us.